Okay, so for the first one over here, we got to get the area of the base first. The area of that base is just a circle, so it's going to be pi times 4 squared. So 50.24 inches squared. So then the volume will be 50.24 inches squared times 12 inches, which is 602.88. What's that? Did you use the pi key instead of 3.14?
Yes, I did.
That would be the difference. That's just fine.
Okay.
Absolutely fine there. 602.88 is what we get for our volume, cubic inches. So you're like 603 something? Yeah. That is just fine. For surface area, we got the 50.24 square inches plus another 50.24 square inches. That's the area of our base, right? Twice. What do we need to do then? $16 by 12? Well, we got to find the perimeter of our base. The base is a circle, so its perimeter is going to be pi times 8, which is 25.12 inches. So the lateral area is that perimeter of the base, 25.12 inches, times the height of 12 inches, otherwise known as 301.44 inches squared. Does that look right? Okay. So we add that all up, we get 401.92 inches squared as our surface area. This other one's a lot easier. We're going to start out with the area of our base, which is going to be just 12 by 12 or 144 inches squared. So that makes our volume 144 inches squared times 18 inches, otherwise known as 2,592 inches cubed. That's our volume. For surface area, so then we need to find 144 plus 144, that's our two bases. The perimeter of our base is 12 inches times 4, or 48 inches, or 12 plus 12 plus 12 if you prefer. Lateral area is in 48 inches times the 18 inches of height, otherwise known as 872. No, it's not. 864 inches squared. Is that correct? Okay, so that makes this 1,152 square inches is our surface area. Look confused, Jake.
I don't know why I got the first one wrong, but I got the second one right.
You got the volume wrong?
I got the volume right on both of them, and I got the surface area wrong on the first one.
Well, that's because the lateral area, I'm guessing, is where you were off. Because you just did 16 instead of the perimeter. Okay. How does our life change I think I'm hilarious. If it's a cone, Well, let's look at how our volume changes. Is this, when we did a triangle, right? When we were doing areas, we had the area of a rectangle, then we went to an area of a triangle, what did we do? Divided by 2, right? Half of the area of the rectangle. Make sense? If I take a cylinder and I cut its volume in half, is that going to give me the volume of a cone? Say no. Yeah, it's not. It's going to give me a shape that looks something like that, isn't it? Definitely not a cone. Right? Bigger than a cone, actually, right? Without doing calculus, there's no way to show you exactly where this comes from. So you're just going to have to believe me. The volume of the cone is equal to the volume of the cylinder. So that'd be the area of the base times the height divided by 3. Now here's how I remember this. How many dimensions is a rectangle? Length by width. 2 dimensions, right? 2-dimensional. So to get its area of a triangle from a rectangle, you divide by 2. 2-dimensional. A cylinder and a cone, those are 3-dimensional. So to get the volume of a cone from a cylinder, you divide by 3. So the volume of this cone here, we still got to find the area of our base. It's going to be pi times 5 squared, otherwise known as 78.5 square feet. Then we'll find our volume. 78.5 square feet times 12 feet, which will give us okay, 942 cubic feet, correct? I believe that's it. No, you just got to remember to divide by, oops, what did I do wrong? Got to divide by 3. So our volume is that divided by 3, which will be 314 cubic feet. That's not bad, right? You just got to remember, same process, divide by 3. Surface area. What do you notice is a little bit different about what I just wrote down there? Yeah, the area of the base is only there once because there's only one base. Yeah. So 78.5 square feet or feet squared plus my lateral area. My lateral area will still begin with the perimeter of the base. Since this is a circle, the perimeter of my base is a circumference, which will be pi times diameter, or pi times 10, 31.4 feet. Now here's the key. Before, every time I unrolled the lateral area, what shape did it make? A rectangle. Here, if I slice this up the side and unroll that lateral area, what shape is it going to make? A triangle. So the lateral area is the perimeter of the base times the height. Oops, not the height anymore. Perimeter of the base times something we're going to call the slant divided by 2. What is that slant and why are we using it? Well, on everything else we did, the length of this surface was equal to the height because the surface just went straight up and down, right? But now this surface goes at an angle. It goes at a slant. So it's actually longer than the height. How do we find its length? Well, it forms a pretty little triangle here. This is the 12 feet of height. What's this here? 5 feet, half of our diameter. It's the radius of our circle. So guess what? That's 12 squared plus 5 squared equals our slant squared. 144 plus 25 is 169. We square root it to give us a slant of 13 feet. Yes, I know I went through that pretty fast, but hopefully you guys are doing okay with the a squared plus b squared equals c squared right now.
Well, it just means
Okay. Yeah, you guys are good at finding that, though? I mean, you want me to go back and redo that calculation so you can see it, or? You got her? Okay. So, for our lateral area, it's the perimeter of the base is the 31.4 feet times that slant that is 13 feet over 2. I'm going to be lazy. Pull up my calculator. .204.1 square feet is that lateral surface area. Add that to the 78.5 square feet we already have. That's 282.6 square feet of total surface area. What do you think? Not terrible? The difference is for volume, you got to divide by 3. For surface area, you're only using the area of the base once. And for lateral area, you got to divide by 2. And you got to use the slant instead of just the height. So what if we have a pyramid? Guess what? Same stuff. Now for a pyramid, I'll indicate it here, but I shouldn't have to. The base is going to be a square. At least for anything we do, the base is going to be a square. So first step, just like any other, is to find the area of the base. How am I going to do that? 12 inches squared, or 12 times 12. So 144 inches squared. Which leads us to find the volume by doing what? 144 inches squared times 8 inches. What do I got to remember to do? Divide by 3. Does that give me 384 inches cubed? .384?
144 squared.
Nope, it's not squared. The square is square inches, but you're not squaring the number.
Oh,
So it's just 144 times 8 divided by 3. 384. You get confused, Tate.
I don't think I got that. Let me try it.
144 times 8 divided by 3. Okay. Surface area, what do we get to add in? Well, the 144 square inches, the area of our base, plus, and we're going to do that once, right? Plus our lateral area. So for our lateral area, what's the first thing we get to find? Perimeter of base. How are we going to find that here? 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12, or 12 times 4 is 48 inches. And then we also need to know the slant. The slant is going to be found by doing this little triangle here. This happy distance here is 8 feet, because that's just our height. What's this happy little distance here? 6 feet, half of our side. So we have got 8 squared plus 6 squared equals our slant squared. So, in other words, the square root of 8 squared plus 6 squared, which gives us 10 is our slant. So that means our slant equals 10 feet. 10 inches, I should say. Not feet. Where the feet go away. Inches. So that means our lateral area, 48 inches, times 10 inches, divided by 2, which is going to give us 240 square inches. Which all adds up to 384 inches squared. Total is our surface area. What do you think? Still better than a sharp stick in the eye?
Yes, it is now.
Yes, it is.
Getting better.
Okay. Okay, so what am I going to do to you here?
Find the volume of the cube and the volume of the pyramid and add them together for the total.
Volume and surface area. I'm just trying to think of what numbers I want to use. There we go. So we got a house that's 20 by 20 with a 10-foot sidewall and a really, really steep roof. Find volume and surface area. And I will tell you this, do not include the bottom. Think of this as though, let's find the volume first. We'll talk about the surface area. Just find the volume for right now. That's the least confusing part of this. So we're going to do the cube first, or the box first. Area of the base is 20 by 20, so it's 400 square feet, giving us a volume. 400 square feet times 10 feet. 4,000 cubic feet. For the pyramid, we still have the 400 square feet as the base. Height of 24 feet divided by 3 gives us 3,200 cubic feet. Which gives us a nice little total of 7,200 cubic feet. Have you had that? Did you have the 4,000? Okay, not sure where you got the 4,533.
I did 20 times 20 times 10 divided by 3.
Oh, it's 20 times 20 times 10 would be it, because that's just a box. There's nothing to divide by there. So I'd give you the 4,000. So the top is 20 by 20, there's the 400, and times the 24 and divided by 3 because it's the pyramid. So that is our total value, 7,200. Now for surface area, ignore the bottom of the box. Pretend you're painting the walls and the roof. Okay? So you need to cover the outside walls and the roof of this item. So no bottom, all the outside walls, and of course, so all you're finding here is lateral area of the box plus the lateral area of the pyramid, because you're not going to do the bottom of the pyramid either, right? So I'll give you a couple minutes to try that. So all we're doing is lateral area, basically. For the box, the perimeter of the base, it's 20 feet times 4, otherwise known as 80 feet. So that'll give a lateral area there of 80 feet times 10 feet, or 800 square feet. How many of you got that far? Right, for the pyramid, we do need to know El Slanto here. This is 24 feet. This is 10 feet. So this is going to be the square root of 24 squared plus 10 squared, which gives us a slant of 26 feet. Very good. That slant, a squared plus b squared equals c squared.
Oh, just remembering to do that.
Yep. So our perimeter is still 80. Same perimeter there. So our lateral area of that is the perimeter of our base of 80 feet times our slant of 26 feet divided by 2. 10,000 or 1,040 square feet. So giving us area to be covered of 1,840 square feet. Questions? So now what do you think we're going to talk about? Not circles, but spheres. Yeah, I know, my drawing leaves something you just heard. A sphere. To find the formulas for volume and surface area of a sphere, once again, would require calculus. So this is one of the few times where I'm just going to ask you to trust me. I know it is. I don't like doing that. But the volume of a sphere is 4/3 times pi times the radius cubed. Do I? Surface area is 4 times pi times the radius squared. So let's say we have a sphere with a radius of 6 feet. Now notice the surface area is not broken down into lateral area, the area of the bases, because the sphere doesn't have bases or lateral areas. It's just got one solid surface. And for the volume, 4/3 times pi times radius. Radius cubed, of course. So that'd be 6 times 6 times 6. So the way to punch it in the calculator is 4 divided by 3 times pi, so times 3.14, times 6 to the power of 3. 904.32. That's feet, so that's going to be feet cubed because it is a volume. Surface area is just 4 times pi. Then the radius squared. Yes. So now in the packet I gave you, did it include page 179 to 194, or do I have to give you that packet yet? There might be a new packet I got to give you. Okay. Then also in the big book, this is just kind of a review of our metric area conversions. Page 272, exercise 9-8, and page 273. Exercise 9-10. I will get you that new packet right now. Actually, it should be in that cylinders and cones packet. You guys got this one, right?
I'm in.
That one?
you want to revert